Today we're going to be taking you through how to succeed in your maths paper. The example we're going to be using is a non-calculator paper taken from March 2013, straight from the higher papers section of the Math Tallis Weebly. Ask your teacher about this if you don't know how to access it as it is a very good resource. First thing to do when you start the exam is to make sure you're familiar with these formula. They may come up in the exam, and it's good to know which you have and which you don't, so you can streamline the process of doing the questions. Now then, to the actual exam. Each question, if you're unsure of something, make sure to underline keywords such as the quantity of what he wants to make in this particular example. As well as this, check for an asterisk next to the number, as if there is one there, then communication will be assessed and you're more likely to need to write detailed answers. Make sure to answer each question, even if you're not entirely sure about what the answer might be. You may get works for marking, and you may arrive at the right answer anyway, so it's always worth trying. Now then, this question has an asterisk next to it. That means that the communication of the question will be assessed, so it's more important to carefully write out your answers in detail, with words as well as numbers. Explain each step and order it, numerically and chronologically, so there's a clear process that you're going through to answer the question. For these questions, it's very important to double check your answers, as they are worth the most marks. For example, this question is worth 4, whereas this question on a graph, at first seeming harder, is only worth 3. Keep working through the exam, answering every question. Questions such as this, involving working out a long number, take it step by step. Work out the top, then the bottom. You can learn more about this in the revision techniques section of our video. Now then, questions with transformations, although you may not need it for this question, if you don't have any tracing paper, you can ask for some, as you are entitled to it for the exam. Just keep working through the questions, answering each one, making sure to put detailed and clear ordering of each of the questions. As you go through the exam, you'll begin to see that the questions tend to get progressively more difficult. Once you reach about question 18, questions tend to get extremely difficult, often requiring multiple techniques to do it. When you get to harder questions like this with longer answers, it's important to identify what maths it's asking for. So in this case, you're looking for sides of a shape, as well as shapes themselves. Identify these different types of maths, and then use that to work it out. It's important to do this, as otherwise you may end up going on the wrong track completely, which could ruin your chances of getting a good grade. Once you reach the end of the exam, be sure to go back and check through your answers, especially if you have time. However, if you're feeling strapped for time, make sure to answer and pay close attention to those with asterisks or those worth more marks, as they are more important for you. If it comes down to it, ignore smaller mark questions, as they may not be worth your time if you are running low on it. Make sure to double check all your answers, and for formulae, put the answers you got back into the formula to double check they're right. Now then, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, and we'll hope to hear you getting good grades next year.